Thank you. I didn't know if I got to speak or not, and I missed the last meeting. I was in Disneyland, so didn't want to interrupt that. Yeah, sorry, Michelle Stallings. As far as the main case goes, I mean, it was apples to oranges. It was a federal House of Representatives seat. The things that they're arguing didn't really apply to this, so they never addressed that one person, one vote issue. I think 3 of the plaintiffs, there was the candidate and then 3 other voters that were the plaintiffs, and they just cast the one vote. So they couldn't really say, well, my other votes didn't count. They weren't counted. So, you know, unfortunately, that didn't solve all the problems and answer all the questions. But that's the main problem that I have with this ranked choice voting. I listened to the presentation the city did, the staff gave to you. And they pointed out that in these trial runs, the 2 trial runs they did, in one of them, the Christmas activity or party, whatever you're doing, 36% of the voters only had one vote, one of their votes counted. Where typically with, you know, the 3 seats open, they would get to have three votes that would count. And then the other one, it was 17% of the voters only had one of their votes count, just because the way it's tallied. And, you know, you eliminate people and that sort of thing. That's the main problem. There's a ton of other problems, but that's the main problem. I mean, that violates the 14th Amendment. That violates the Voters' Right Act. I mean, it does. Your staff said it does. They didn't get to vote. It's right there. Like, you know, that's important, that people should have equal voting power. So when you're counting some votes and not another, it's just unconstitutional in my opinion. So I would suggest you address that concern so you don't open up Lehigh City to a lawsuit. And then the question of, does this represent the will of the people, the majority of the people? You know, Fair Vote or Utah's for Ranked Choice or whatever the group is that's pushing this, they keep saying it's a majority, we're going to get a majority vote. Now, they're going to get a number. They're going to get 50% plus 1, and that's what they're going to call a majority. But is that I learned a new word, Condorcet winner? Is that the winner that the majority of people are okay with? It's not.
I need you to spell that.
I'm just pretending.
I've learned a lot of new words. Non-monotonic, too. This is non-monotonic. So in Burlington, Vermont, in 2009, they used ranked choice voting. There was a Democrat and a Republican and a Progressive Party candidate that ran. They were in the final round. And what ended up happening was the Progressive candidate won. But when they looked at the numbers, who the people prefer, the Democrat should have won. He came in third and so he was eliminated, that last round. And so the majority of people got a candidate. The candidate didn't represent what the majority of the people wanted to. So when you say majority, just understand it's a number. It's not really representative of the will of the people.
Going back just real quickly in a 45% example, let's say, Johnny had 45%, 55% of people voted for other people. In that case, also the majority didn't get the candidate they wanted. Yeah,
and typically we don't always look for majority. We look for plurality, who the most people want is.
Which is how our elections are run now.
Right.
I'm just pointing out the same scenario.
Right, but
the
benefit of this supposedly is the system is that it will give you a majority. But you got to understand that majority is just numbers, the way they count. You can reallocate the people.
That's where I said the majority tolerates the winner better. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're excited about it.
Well, no, not even in that case. That doesn't even work. So the majority, in Vermont, the majority would have tolerated the Democrat over the the Progressive Party member. They looked at their second choices, and they preferred the second choices of those who voted for the Republican would have gone to the Democrat. So the majority of people would have preferred the Democrat, tolerated him, but that's not who they got.
So the Democrat.
I should send you the.
If you could, that'd be great, okay. And I'll take a look at it.
And I gave this example on Lehigh Link. If you look there ever, I don't blame you if you don't, or avoid it sometimes. But I gave a similar example because I was trying to figure this out in my head. Because what I see is people pushing this who want to change the outcome. I mean, even Amelia Powers posted on her Facebook, we can get more women elected this way, or third-party people, we can get more third-party people elected this way. All right, that's fine if it actually represents what most people want, not just you get your little agenda through kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, good Dorsey. And it was ironic that, like I said, I listened to the last meeting in December, and they said they do this in the Republican Party for the caucus or the convention. And the guy who actually was, I think, my precinct vice chair, said he was actually a member of the United Utah Party. So I'm not quite sure why he was running my Republican caucus, but maybe it was after the fact. But I mean, here he is saying it works, yet, you know, the United Utah Party, they're just there because they don't think it works. They don't like the candidates that the Republican delegates are electing. And then also we have Count My Vote, that, you know, they're kind of there because this isn't really working for them. So to just say that it's working for the Republican Party, obviously it's not working for so many of those people.
Well, and at the caucuses I went to where they were using this, there was more comment and more speeches in between, you know, rounds before they eliminated and things. So you did see people move up and move around, but it was based more on what they said than what had been selected previously.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if we ever did it straight, one shot, put in order who you vote for kind of thing. Anyway. The other thing, informed voting, definitely go with a primary no matter what. I mean, if you're a month and a half to weed out all of them, I mean, how many candidates do you have on a city council with 3 seats open? That's not enough time. And then also when you have the primary in a regular election, you have that time span, you know who's going to be on the final ballot. You get to make an informed choice. When you just have to rank them in order, you have no idea who's going to be left on the ballot during the second round. Who's going to be eliminated, who's not. And then finally, like I said, I learned another new word, that monotonic results.
Non-monotonic.
Non-monotonic. You've been studying too, I guess.
No, I typed it when you said it so I could look it up later.
Okay. So basically, I had to look it up and try to get my mind around it. But basically, typically it's straightforward. You vote for the guy you want to win, and your vote's going to add to his strength, you know, his opportunity to win. So what ranked choice voting does, the way it counts the votes, is you actually can hurt your favorite candidate by voting for him. Sometimes it's better to vote for somebody else to knock out a competitor to get vote. So anyway, it's crazy. Australia, from Australia in 2009, this is what happened. The candidate that should have won was hurt by actually having more votes. So, and it works the other way around. Sometimes the loser, I think this is what happened in Vermont. A loser or somebody who got less votes, actually, it helped them win in the end. So this is crazy. And the argument too about the civil discourse among the candidates, I've heard there's no evidence actually showing that. That's just conjecture from what I understand. But it reminds me of, if you're familiar with the musical Hamilton, Alan Burr. Don't tell him what is it? Aaron Burr. Talk less, smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. And that's what we're going to get.
Well, I actually saw, not that I look at Lee Highlink, I never do, but I heard that, that in the commentary that there were more people, actually a slight edge majority of people that were in favor of RCV. But there was also a comment very close to that. Who was that guy that bought pizzas for everybody standing in line to vote? I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, there you go.
And I thought, oh dear.
Well, and you know, I really was trying to understand this because I had never heard of it before. And I did go back and listen to the state legislature when this bill was coming up. And Senator Bramble pointed this very thing out, that he has been to conventions or something where they had this form of voting, and he said the least offensive candidate always wins, the one who really doesn't take a stand on anything. That's who we're going to get. And as a voter who actually does her work, and hopefully an educated voter, I want to know where they stand. I want to know really how they vote. Are they going to represent me? I know nobody's going to be 100%.
And a good candidate welcomes that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, is you need to know what they represent. Do they represent you? Do they represent your principles? How are they going to vote when these different things come up? You need to know that as a voter. And if we go this route and we just, the most tolerable person, you're not going to know that. I just don't think this is the way to go.
Michelle,
that's it.
the one comment you made that you can actually help your candidate by not voting for him, I'm lost on that one.
I read it, trying to figure it out. Basically, what I think it comes down to is, I think this was the one in Australia. Oh, Burlington, Vermont, by the way, got rid of ranked choice voting after that all thing happened, where the Democrat lost when, he came in third when he actually was the preferred one. But what I think it is that, all right, so you have candidate A, B, and C, and you really like candidate A. But if your votes, and candidate C is kind of good, if you can knock out, candidate B would be more of a competitor, I guess, with candidate A. You like candidate A. So you're going to put your votes towards candidate C.
Because
so
nobody
he'll
wants
get
him
through,
Yeah.
and he'll be at least less of a competitor against the guy you like.
So if you eliminate the
I can
guy, the
imagine.
closest competitor.
Yeah.
To me, that's the same argument as the single vote option
Yes.
that you'll hear bantied about here in Lehigh City, where when there's three candidates, they'll say,
Per vote.
I'm only going to vote
for
for
the
one
one.
person
Yeah.
because I
Because
don't
if I
want to
vote for
help anyone
candidate B,
else.
then
wanna
I'm
help.
giving a vote
The
to.
problem with that really is, I can understand that logic, but not for very long because
Make sure
because
that's
what you
heard.
do is you're not voting for your candidate.
Right. Exactly.
So it should equal out. I'm going to always vote for
You're
my
not
number
voting
one.
for him, but he'll actually win in the end is what happened. And that's weird. And
Yeah, but if he's going to, you just throw him your vote anyway, if that's who you want. So mathematically, they're not thinking.
no,
anything straight.
if you voted for him, if you voted for candidate A,
You're using
and
C
then
as your second
candidate,
vote.
if candidate
Well,
B
that's a second vote, though.
got through, let's say they go to the final round, okay? So if candidate B got through, the added votes will go to him and he'll beat candidate A. But if you can get candidate C through, he actually will have less added votes. Candidate A will have more. And does that...
Yeah, but I'm still
I'll
going to vote
send
for
you-
him. I'll vote for C
Well, I
second.
would too.
He'd
Well,
be my
I
number
vote-
two, but number one is always going to be my number one.
Right. But if you actually want him to win, I mean, this is a thing that, political scientists look at. This is a problem with the system, is that
Okay.
your vote can actually hurt
If
your
you can
candidate.
knock out his closest competitor first.
Right. But
Then the
it's
obvious
just a weird
choice.
system. But let me just go back, and I'll sit down and be quiet. It goes back to, does everybody have equal voting power? And again, your city staff went through this, practiced it out, and they showed that some people will get one vote counted. Other people will get 3 votes counted. That's where your problem is. That's a problem with the Constitution. There are federal laws against that kind of thing. So that, to me, that is the main problem. There's lots of others, but that's the main one. So,
Thank you very much.
Michelle.
Thank you.
It is amazing, as Johnny started out, this is a very decisive issue. And you don't have any in the
Divisive,
middle
there
of the
is no
road.